Live on YouTube. Right.
Yay. All the way live.
All right. All right.
Alrighty then.
So welcome. It is Thursday, April 25th, 2024. So we are together. Andrea, Cheryl, do you want to check in?
I'm
Yes,
here.
we're here. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for listening in.
Thanks for joining my podcast.
Yes, thanks for joining the podcast of Two Sisters and a
Well,
Brother.
Cheryl, I don't think you were paying attention.
What?
That's not what Andrea said.
Okay, well, I'm going to redo it. Thank you for joining the podcast of Two Sisters and a Brother. It's not Andrea's podcast by herself.
Well, if it was, you guys would be my guest, so this is good.
And if it was mine, you wouldn't be my guest. Just so you know. Okay. Um, in your
Wow.
travels, Andrea and Cheryl, have you had any feedback? Has people offered you any comments that you want to share with the group? And those of us who are our guests, we have Alexandria, Amber, Francine, Gladys, and Tade. If you'd like to be on the show to talk a little bit, if you could raise your hand, that would be helpful in your uh, online. So that will let us know that you want to talk.
Yes.
And that should you should see that somewhere on the bottom of your tabs or somewhere. It would show you to. So I see Francine has raised her hand, so we'll get to you shortly. And anyone else, please let us know by raising your hand. So Cheryl, Andrea, anything you want to talk about? Any
Well, I
feedback?
would like to talk about, it's people, associates and friends of mine who are interested in things that have to do with family relationships. And I told them that relationships are family and friends, intimate relationships, partnerships, and things like that. So they would need to come on to the podcast and hear what we would have to say about those things concerning family.
Yeah,
That's it so far.
good. Andrea?
I've been getting positive feedback regarding what we're doing. And what I do is reiterate with everyone that it's not just relationships between like an intimate relationship. It could be a relationship with a boss, it could be a relationship with a family member. So we just deal with all relationships here. So um, and we just try to help people get through some things from our own prior experiences or from our own knowledge. So we're just here to do what we can, do our part, if you will.
And we wanted to have a focus tonight, Andrea and Cheryl. Do you guys, ladies, want to bring it up? I'll try to bring up the screen here. Do you want to introduce the topic, Cheryl or Andrea?
Go ahead, Cheryl. You want to?
Okay, I'll do it. Courting, getting along to go longer and get somewhere. Courting, focused efforts in an attempt to win their attention that has longer term and mutual benefits. Getting along to go along and get nowhere. Grooming, being targeted, utilizing manipulation, downplaying, coupled with false hope, promises, and dreams being portrayed as a genuine relationship that is really for one-sided gain.
That's so deep.
Andrea, why do you say so?
It's totally what grooming is about. You know, I'm trying to manipulate you to see things my way. I'm trying to get you to see my view so that this can be more beneficial for me. Where in a courting relationship, you'll find a person really wants you to have more of the benefits. When somebody really cares about you and loves you in that way, they want you to benefit more than they would benefit.
And
I agree. It has also a part there, unselfishness and selfless. You know, you're being selfish when you're grooming because it's only for you.
Yeah.
And when you're not being selfish, you're courting because it's not only for you, it's for someone else. Your interest in someone else and what they want and their ideas and their goals along with yours.
Right.
And so when you listen to people and they talk about their relationship, do you have an idea or a feeling about what's happening more than the other? Is courting happening more than grooming, or is grooming happening more than courting? Or is
No. I think I'm being groomed right now. I'm getting ready to shut this down after this podcast is over. You trying to groom me? I know what's going on here. But you
Exactly.
definitely, it's a lot more grooming going on because everybody has such a different mindset now. Everybody has a mindset of, I'm going to get over, I'm going to get what I can get. And that's why you're having less marriages happen, especially, in our community, it's less of that happening because if I can groom several people at the same time, why do I have to court one particular person? Really just depends on the person's mindset. But there's a lot more grooming going on. And in my past relationships and experiences, I think people are trying to groom me too.
Mm.
So I'm
I
gonna make
agree
some
with
phone
you,
calls.
Dre. I agree with you, Dre. I think sometimes they start out as courting and then they move into the grooming. I
Well, I
think
don't,
it could be happening both things could be happening at the same time.
Yeah.
At one at a time. They'll start off courting, making you believe it's about you, but then they start the grooming because really they want it about them.
What do you think, Nat?
yeah,
Dr.
my
Williams.
my feeling is that it's one or the other, and I don't think it switches up. I just think it becomes more obvious one way or the other that this was courting, or more obvious that this was grooming. I think people that do not mean good do not know how to turn it on and off that easily. They are who they are, and we need to you know um, accept that. Let's have Francine join us. She's raised her hand. I'm going
Okay.
to promote you to a panelist, so you're able to join us. There's something you have to do on your side, Francine, to accept that. And anyone else that'd like to join our conversation, please feel free to raise your hand, and I'll be more than glad to. So it looks like Francine's coming over. So I'm going to take this off the screen so we can see Francine. So Francine, what are your thoughts? Do you want me to put that back up, or did you remember did you see what I
Oh
said?
no, I remember. Good evening, everybody. It's
Good
Good
nice
evening.
evening.
to listen to you guys. I get a lot out of these calls. Um, I think I've been groomed. Um, that a lot of people take kindness for weakness.
Mhm.
And I think, well, Dr. Williams, you told me a while back that I had a bad picker, so I've been kind of cautious. But being cautious, I think I let my guard down some and thought that maybe I was doing too much or being too aggressive. You know how they say you have to let the man wear the pants. And I think that I was taking charge, not knowingly, but like I said, a couple of gentlemen I went out with, they was retired. So I was still working. So I took it as, my availability wasn't there as much as theirs was. And they kind of played with me on that. Like, well, you're never available and you're never, so I kind of let my guard down. But then I realized that I was being groomed. Like I just figured out that's what it was called. I said I was being played. Um, but that's, a good thing that I can use going forward is not to second guess myself.
Mhm. Mhm. And
Interesting.
Francine, why do you think you were gravitated or attracted by or to a person that may have been more interested in grooming than courting. Do you think you looked in the right place? Do you think you were in the right circles? Do you think were in the right environment where someone could afford to do courting versus grooming or vice versa?
Well, I think that I was definitely in the wrong circle. So I try to, like, I don't go to bars and stuff like that. So I try to do like activities, like
Mhm.
going bowling, um, different concerts and shows and stuff like that. So I just think that people just like I said, take kindness for weakness. And take advantage, like I said. Because if you're going out with somebody, you might say, well, I'll pay this time and you pay the next time, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just got out of hand. Like, you know, they never wanted to go to pay for something. And I'm like, no, this is not working for me. Because now, it was bluntly, that you could see you being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people think you have low self-esteem or you're that desperate, to be in their, you know, uh vision or what I can't think of the word, but I just think that they just took it too far.
So, Francine, what do you see as your future? What's on the horizon now that you know what you know? How are things going to be different for you going forth?
And that's the scary part. Just like being a loner. Um
Mm.
and it's not a good feeling to, you can't bring baggage from an old relationship into a new one and think that everybody's going to be like that other person. But you become so cautious and, you just have to really go into something very wide eyed and know that, you know, Um, I don't do no apps or anything like that. And like I said, if I'm out, it's a whole lot of people around and things like that. So you don't want to be scared, you know, to
And you said you don't
to
you
put the
don't you don't you don't do apps. Why not?
I just think that me myself being a handicapped individual, if you don't put it out there for a person, like with the apps and stuff like that, you really not sharing yourself. I mean, I have pictures and I could send and but then it becomes, well, what happened? And it's better to meet a person in person, I think, for
Well,
me.
just do a headshot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If I just do a headshot, then the shock of meeting them in
Uh,
person becomes, well, I'm just gonna walk away from her,
uh,
or oh, emergency came up and I have to go, and things like that. That really kind of hurt your
you've had
feelings.
situations like that where people have had miraculous emergencies in the middle of getting to meet you.
Well, once when I was in New York, but something like that
You
never
know, us
you
us
never
New York
forget.
us New Yorkers do that all the time. You know,
You don't even
we'll
have
make
to
And I'm
have a
telling
yeah,
handicap. And they still doing it.
right,
we'll make the pager go off, in a heartbeat.
right.
Um,
And I mean, I've
uh,
done that and going out with a guy and be like, "But this is not what you said you look like," you know, and things like that. So I've done it too. So I don't know if it
wow.
was because of that reason, so
I would just kind of show it. Do you think, and this is for anyone, that a lot of times when it comes to grooming, you're being taken advantage of because you may feel sorry for this person or you feel like you're more fortunate. So in your case, if you're dating more retirees and you're still on the grind, making money and doing things, you may feel like, well, I'll take care of this because I know he's waiting for his check or this person is waiting for their check. So you may opt to more or less like want to do a little bit more than somebody
yeah,
else who has less than you. And so when it comes
right,
time to paying, let me pay, let me pay. And I found myself doing that sometimes just because I know that, I get income from different places. So, you know what, let me take care of it. So a lot of times, and somebody sees that and says, whoa, I got one here. Right.
exactly.
So A lot of times
So,
we need to be mindful of that.
yeah, but it sounds like you're taking on a project rather than a partner.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And then they see this, so you're maybe looking at it like I'm taking on a project, but what they're looking at is, oh wow, I got somebody to groom. So I have somebody I'm gonna take advantage of. You're doing it to help out or to be mindful and be kind and considerate. And they're saying, I got a cash cow.
Well,
Exactly.
I think it's good to be I think it's good to be a social worker. I just don't think you want to be a social worker in the living room.
No. And
Yeah.
that's why I said I could see down the road that it just doesn't look like you know, too promising.
Mm.
Right.
And then I don't want to become this frustrated person. And like I said, to say,
You don't want to be you don't want to be an angry black woman. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, exactly.
It's
So
okay. I could be angry black woman sometime.
Mm.
I've
Well,
decided to be nice for a couple of days. So
yeah, yes, it's over tomorrow. I've informed that the party is over tomorrow.
yeah.
Um, all I would say, Francine, just something to give advice to give thought to is the more biases you have, the less opportunity you're affording yourself. So when you say no social media, no bars, no this, no that, and there may be reasons not to do it, but the more you limit, the more limiting your choices are going to be, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm not going to do bars all the time, but if there's a really good bar attached to a hotel that I'm at a conference to, I may, go down to the bar and, have a drink,
Yeah.
the corner, liquor shack, maybe not, but, the hotel bar, maybe yes. So just, keep that in mind that uh, you often, I think people don't realize the math. We're just trying to find one good one. You're not trying to find 100. You're just trying to find one good one. And I think if you just open the gates a little bit, and Francine, I am very, very qualified and well versed in finding people for other people.
Don't bother.
Just hello, hello,
Don't bother.
hello,
Don't
hello,
Francine, you
hello. We're losing
don't
control here.
don't even
All
waste their
right,
time with
all
that
right.
one.
So I will take on a project for 2024
Mm-hmm.
to make your last name change to something else. That'll be my commitment to you.
Well, the older you get, the chances of
That's why you need me. We're gonna get her done.
How about the photos you said? Like I remember you said something about photos. How about just showing that person whatever that disability is in that photo? Like if they can visually see that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And let a person make the judgment of what they want to
right,
do and who they
right,
want to pick. As opposed to
right.
already putting out in the universe, no one's going to because just put it out there. You don't know what's in store for you. And people deal with things all the time, right?
True,
So you
true.
just don't know. I would put it out there and see what comes back. You
Yeah.
got to have more than
And
one
and I
oar in the water.
and I've seen Francine, do a sexy pose, using her disability to her own advantage. So she can throw that hip if she
Exactly.
has to.
You
So
got to do what you got to do to make it work. So
yeah, wow,
just put it out there and see what happens. You never know.
thanks,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
thanks.
Yeah.
Hang in there with us if you can, Francine. Miss Denise Levins, how are you, ma'am? If you can unmute yourself. I think I have to. I don't know. You have to hit the button there. Oh, oops, you just did it, and I just made it go back. Sorry. Do it one more time.
I
Yeah.
see it.
How are you?
Okay.
Oh, Cheryl, you have to unmute yourself if you want to talk. There was a little bit of feedback that
All
seemed
right,
to be
sorry.
coming from your line, so I had to mute you so we didn't. So, Miss
Well,
Denise, what are your thoughts on what you've been hearing?
wow. Okay, so wow, this is something. So I know I have been groomed,
Mm,
but I also want to say this. I found out I was an empath. And people who are empaths, we tend to draw to people to want to rescue them. I used to tell my cousin,
Denise, just one
yes,
second. Could you explain to people what an empath is, just for those of us?
okay.
Andrea is not able to catch on to most of these very sophisticated terms.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry.
Yes,
Okay,
It's
so
football. It's football, right?
so an empath is a person who, you kind of feel for other people.
Mhm.
You want to be helpful. You're always like the rescuer, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You're always rescuing people, oh, they need your help. And I found out that is Boy, I'm telling you.
Mm.
Now, my
Preach.
husband is deceased, and I'm gonna share this
Mm.
with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that now. I'm gonna go here. This
Just
y'all. I
go.
love what
Just
y'all guys
go.
It's
doing.
okay.
Go.
I am 61 years old.
Beautiful.
So when we were younger, being attractive, light eyes, light skin. So it seemed as though I always attracted the wrong kind of men to me. And most of the men that was attracted to me always messed around. So that's a game changer for me. No
Right.
mess around. You don't mess around in this chick. So then also I started attracting drug addicts. Well, recovering drug addicts,
Yeah.
right? Because my thing is, if you get high, I'm done with you. Listen, and I want to take you at your word and believe you want to do better. I fell into that trap, with the husband. I met him. So I'm a believer. He goes to church. I go to church. I've known him from years when we were kids. We run into one another. Then we start seeing one another. And then that thing I know, he's up on me, like always want to be around me. And then when I want to go see a girlfriend, he has a problem with it because I realized he didn't really have any friends.
Mm.
That's a red flag.
Yes.
A man with no friends.
This is one
And
of the
then
8 domains. Mm-hmm.
right. But he know a lot of people, but I noticed he never let anyone get close to him, except for me, And then behind closed doors, he was terrible. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say he was a sociopath. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Okay.
couldn't believe that I married a man. I mean, he had like personality changes. Like,
Right.
I had to read up on people in addiction with cocaine. When they come down, they go into depression and all these mood swings and gaslighting and all,
Mm-hmm.
like trying to make like I'm crazy. He'll do something to say, "Oh, I didn't do that." I said, "Yes, you did." He was messing with my charger to my computer. The computer went out. I said, well, "Why would you mess with my charger?" "Oh, I didn't do that." I said, "My computer was just on and you just," "Oh, I didn't do that." Like, I'm like, I can't. I mean, I went through so much with this man. I thank God I'm still living and I had
Yeah.
my right mind.
Yes.
It was something.
Mm. So
Yeah.
at
So
61, what do you see as your future? Knowing what you've learned, I believe that we go through stuff, so it helps us to move forward. But a lot of times it paralyzes us. It gets us to shut down. It gets us to be scared. It gets us to limit opportunities. And Denise and Francine, that's not what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to go ahead with your eyes wide open. You that the stuff that happened before really can't happen the same way again unless you allow for it to happen. You've received the education. It's like you know how to do 2 + 2. So now you know how to count and you now can manage money. The
yes.
learning was for something. It's to lead you to something. So what do you think, Denise, all this learning you've gone through, because 61, it's not old. It's not
No,
young,
I
but
know that.
it's not old. So
I
you
realize that.
you still have time because you've been given time.
Yes.
That's right.
So what are you
So
going to
I'm
do with
very hopeful.
it?
My cousin think I'm fun. She makes fun of me because she's like 65. She's like, no, she's 67. She's like, girl, well, I ain't think about a husband, whatever, whatever, whatever. I said, listen, I'm working on me. And I believe if I continue to work on me and do what I need to do, that man will find this good woman because it's a man who finds a woman, a good woman. And I've obtained favor from the Lord. So I guess, I'm a believer. So I believe what the word of God says. And
Right.
I'm open, and what I realized though is my prayer has been, I know I need to get out more and socialize. Now I'm not going to a bar. I'm sorry. That's not my spin. I'm not going to the club. That's not my thing either. But I can go to other social events and be, expose myself. Like I'm working on my health, right? And I'm working on dropping some weight. So my health is coming along, but I'm also working on my weight. And I'm also in school. I'm learning something, technology. What can I say? So we're
Good.
constantly growing. Although I'm older, I still believe I'm a life learner. I love to learn. And I always look at myself and examine myself and like, okay, Denise, you were here. What happened? And then I kind of evaluate some things. I'm like, okay, you did this. You got to relearn this. You can't keep thinking like that. Can I be honest? I really thought that because the way I think, I can meet you right where you are, but I can see, I saw potential in my husband because this man I saw potential. but it's not good enough. I see the potential and he don't see it in himself.
Right.
So he
Absolutely
didn't
not.
work towards anything. Now I'm devastated because he wound up going on drugs. I'm like, what the shenanigans? You said you was going to start a business because he used to do cement, whatever. He wanted to do a contract business. Oh, he wanted to be a contractor. I said, yeah, get the license, get this, get certified. But I'm all pushing. I'm the type of one, I'm going to push the man. Let's do it. Child,
Yeah.
all he wanted to do was come live in my house. He wanted to drive my car until I told him, oh, no, you hit all the bumps, baby. I had a Mercedes. You won't be driving that no more. So he got his own car. So he got comfortable. We supposed to move and buy a house, but he got comfortable in my house. I said, oh, no, you got to go. Ain't going to tell me he ain't leaving. He left. Bye.
Exactly.
So I said, oh, we'll never do that again.
Yeah, you're right. I like how you talk about. Go ahead, now.
Get on, please.
I like how you just briefly how you said he had the potential. And I think a lot of times in relationships, we get with people because of their potential. And I think we should get with a person right where they are. Like this is the product right here. Whatever may happen later on may happen, but this is who you have right now who's in front of you. And stop being with people based upon their potential. And I could, you want to be an astronaut? All right, we're going to do that by 5 o'clock. This is what we're going to do. And I could put it all together for you, but that's not my job.
That's right. I had to learn that.
Yes,
I had to learn that it's not for me to help a man. A man should come to you already together, got himself together, doing whatever. I had to learn that though. I had to relearn. I'm going to go here. A lot of stuff we see from childhood. My father, he worked, he messed the money up. My mother was a self-made millionaire in the 70s. She took care of everything. So what I saw was a strong woman handling her business. Dad was doing whatever he wanted to do, and she ain't give a darn because she making the money. She making more than him, actually. So now I'm like, okay, hey, I'm going to do my thing, it's okay. No, but it's not okay. When I realized, I used to say to this man, I said, okay, now you got to pay some bills. Like, what's up? He paid bills for 4 months, and after that he fell off. Like, for real?
Yeah,
you can't live nowhere free. Who does that?
But Denise, weren't they really 4 good months?
No, no. Can I share this with you? Now I'm gonna go here. You ever heard? I know y'all heard this term. It's called love bombing.
Oh yeah.
I learned that from a woman. I stumbled across her website. Okay, the love bombing, and I'm gonna tell you, when I met him, I was in the wrong place.
Okay, Denise, again, explain to people what you mean by that term.
Okay, so the love bombing is when someone meets you and it's all like really on a sexual level. They're like sexing you up and just pumping you up, and them endorphins going on in your brain, and you but at a height of a height. Everything is wonderful. Ooh. But man, when it settles and you see reality, you're like, what? I can't. Yeah, I've been through some things, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And thank God I've overcome them.
Yeah.
Amen.
But you're not giving up, right? At 61, you're still open.
No.
You said something earlier that you think the man should find the woman. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So I don't believe that, and I've never been this type of woman anyway. I've never been a woman like, oh, I'm out to find me a man. Girl, I'm gonna get a man. I never had to do that. I just can be somewhere and man come my way, I've never, some women maybe go look. I never had to look. I don't even know what that's about. But I do believe we should be made available, like kind of like, hey, I'm here. And I learned this, and I will flirt. I flirt. I mean, hey, how you doing today?
Denise, you're going to see at the end, Francine, as well. We have some T-shirts that we have put together that say I'm available, and there's a block on there where you write your phone number in or put your.
You have all type of crazy
T-shirts. I can make my own. I do T-shirts.
Ours are $15, so just so you know. But Denise, you're correct that you have to allow yourself to be available. Often people want people to break into their houses to find them. I don't think you want
it'll never happen.
Yeah.
If I stay in this house and stay in my room, oh, I want a husband, oh, I want to meet someone. I'll never meet no one because no one's knocking on my door saying, come on, I want to take you out and court you. No, that's not happening. You got to get
Not
up and go
happening.
out, and you got to be where people are. You
I
know.
was talking to someone today and they were like, you know what? That's why I use Uber and DoorDash and one other. And she hopes that by doing a different food delivery person each night, but her problem is she keeps getting women and she's not interested in women. So she doesn't want to go outside of her house, so she's just door dashing. It hasn't been working, but you never know. I keep telling her you only need one, so maybe she gets one really good DoorDash guy. It'll work out for her.
She's on her way.
Yeah.
What do you think about that,
Yeah.
Dr. Williams? Should a lot of times when, we will say, he has the potential.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think especially listening to Denise, she saw the potential in her, not him. The potential was misplaced. I think she knows that if he offered a little bit, she could have taken it somewhere. And I think so you were not seeing his potential, your potential.
Right.
You were willing to deny the potential. You really were willing to not recognize the truth of what you saw. You had no evidence to believe it was just your intuition, but your intuition was about you, Denise. It was not about him. And so you have to go with the facts as they exist. Nothing but the facts. They want to open up a business. What have you done? Is there a little piece of paper with the business name on it?
I realize that.
Is there a little piece of paper?
I love that concept.
I realize that.
What is the business name going to be?
Right.
They can't give you anything, and they want you to find to get the corporate license to come up with the corporate name to incorporate it, and then
I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah, you got.
I love that.
Something to work with.
I love that concept, Dr. Williams. How you say the potential was me.
Yeah.
The potential was me. We always think it's them. Like, oh my gosh, he has the potential for this, but no, I have the potential to get you to that.
Right.
Or you have the potential to even see it, but Dr. Williams said, you're seeing that in yourself because you don't know what potential this gentleman has until he shows it. And if he doesn't show it, then that potential, yes, you're talking about yourself.
Right.
Good work, Dr. Williams.
Oh, good. I'll write that down.
Very good.
So, Chris Walton, our resident to
the stars.
Yeah. And Denise, normally Chris is in jail on Thursday nights, but he's been let out on a work release program tonight. So he's able to join us. But sometimes the PO knocks on the window of the car.
Clank, clank.
So I'll ask you to unmute yourself, Chris, and join in to the conversation. What are your thoughts about what you've heard? I know you were back and forth.
Yes. So the grooming is definitely a good idea, like to think on. So I think in order to understand that you're being groomed is because it's first you got to understand you as a groomer, and most of the time, we're ready to groom somebody based off of our insecurities. So we want to bring them down. We want to try to dim their light, and and this is man or woman. I think once, like as Dr. Lewis say, if you see your potential, know that you're the prize. I believe in law of attraction. I think you attract what you are. And the more you work on yourself, is the more you can attract those that would appreciate you and want to treat you like you need to be treated, especially if they want to court you.
Good point. So, Chris, looking at your future, what is any of this information helping you as you go forth? Is any of these conversations helping you, informing you as you step forward with the things you want to accomplish? Because all three of you, Francine, Chris, and Denise, are single individuals, I think, at this particular point, and are open for options. So what's on your horizon, Chris?
This information is doing so much for me. So I'm real big on just living in the moment, and I don't have any expectations of people. I just like to get to know people. I'm at that point where as though I just want to get to know you.
What do you think, Chris, about Denise's point that you need to be the initiator when it comes to finding someone, that waiting for someone the opposite to come to you, her expectation? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but what do you think about So would you expect a person to come to you for you to come to them? How would you like to be approached if by someone that's interested in you? Or would you, or you would just want to approach them?
That's a good question. So I
Thank
would
you.
approach them.
Excuse me, I'm going to write this down. That's number 2. Okay, very good.
You're doing good today, Dr. Williams.
Yes,
That's a good
yes.
question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But I would approach them. I would approach them.
So what if someone approached you? What if a person interested in you said, "Hey, I'm interested in you." How would you feel about that?
I would give it a chance. I
You
would
would.
try it. You know, it's nothing serious. It's just getting to know. So it's playing the dating game. So hey, we're going to date. We'll see. You know, what we like about each other or anything. You know, anything of that
Okay, so
nature.
let's stick with that for a second. And like, what should go on at a date? Francine, I'd like to have you unmic yourself, but like, I want you to reimagine dating because whatever we've been doing, it hasn't been working. So I want you to reimagine this. So what would a really good date
Well, I
sound
would
like,
say
look like, be like? What would you do? Get Francine.
someone would pick me up,
I like that.
pick
Why?
me up at my house, and I beat the horn and I go out. They would actually, ring the bell, and I would come
Excuse me.
down and
I'm just trying to break this down. Okay, you know they're coming, and you want them, instead of me calling your cell phone and saying I'm coming around the block, could you come down the steps? You want them to park the car and get out of the car and ring the doorbell, and you already know they're coming, and you could be so you want all that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I would,
Yes,
because
that's what you
when you
want.
start settling for, oh, just beat the horn and I'll come out, that's a whole
No,
different.
see, I
It
wouldn't
takes
even beat the horn because I don't want to disturb the old lady that lives next to you and her sleeping. So I'm gonna just text you and say I'm coming around.
I'm downstairs.
Yeah, that one work for you, Francine. You want them to get out, crease up their
and
new shoes, and
yeah,
Ring the
comes to my
bell.
door.
okay.
Yeah,
So
ring
ring
the
the bell.
bell.
They'll continue the rest of the first date. What else happens
Um,
after that?
to go to a place where we can communicate, where it's not a lot of noise or a lot of music, and we can actually talk.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Mhm.
so once you finish the communicating, then you'll know from there, I'll know if you're a good candidate or not.
Okay, what happens after that?
Then
Take
you
her
have a
home.
second date.
Oh, a second.
Who
Do I have
should
to go?
pay?
Do I have to walk up to the door again? How many times?
Well,
How many times do I have to walk to the door?
well, and even when you drop me off, you should walk me to the door.
Oh my God.
That's
What if I have a
amazing.
walker? What if I have a walker? You have to do
Oh,
You
then
get
we're
it
not. We
out
can't go out
and you
there.
push it. You get it out and you
We
you
wouldn't be
come
able to
on
go
I
out
have to
through,
do
together.
Dr.
I have to do
Williams.
the wheelchair lift up and the wheelchair lift down.
Yes.
Get the hell out.
So is that a deal breaker? So let me ask you, Francine, is that a deal breaker if he does not get out the car and come and get you? Is that a deal breaker for you?
Yeah, because then I'm just settling for something that I really don't
Maybe
want,
maybe you're
believe
settling
in.
for a guy who has bad legs and he needs to rest up a little bit. That's
Well, I
what's the
did
problem?
that. I went
Maybe
out
his
with a guy with
circulation's off.
bad legs, and he had a hip replacement and a knee replacement, and I can't do that no more.
Oh.
Like I
He was
no.
all jacked up.
I'm
What do
like,
you,
I'm
you know what?
62
You guys,
and you're
the part I
55
don't
and you
understand,
can't move
the
around.
part I don't like about you guys and your stories is let me have a good handicap pass, and then you guys will have a whole different attitude. But when we were able to park in front of the movie theater right in the first spot, now I got it going on. But you want me to walk you to your steps and back? That's not happening. But I got good parking rights.
Who should pay for the first date, Francine?
He did. Oh,
He
what?
should.
Who? Oh,
The first, second, third.
All of that.
Oh
Wow.
my God. Denise, tell me you don't agree with this, Denise and Chris. Tell me you have a different idea. Oh.
Yeah, I have a different idea.
Okay,
What's your
what's
idea,
yours?
Chris?
So my idea is that, we meet up. Like we call each other, we talk, we exchange numbers, we call, we talk, and we meet up together. This is nothing spontaneous.
You walk yourself to the destination.
You walk yourself to the destination. Because it's compromising in the beginning. We have to
Who pays,
have to show
Chris?
each other we want it first.
When the bill comes, who's paying?
Oh, we split that bill.
Oh, hell no. Oh, shut this down. Shut this down now. Shut this down. Chris, you out of here.
And the reason why I
shut it down
because expectations. That's where people get. Sometimes we do too much, and we gotta. How can I say it? It gotta be a compromise.
Yeah,
we gotta go in it together.
Why
do I want to go out with you to split the bill? I could go out with my girlfriends and split the bill.
Because this the beginning of the relationship.
No, I'm not. I shouldn't have to go 50-50.
But that should be when it counts.
And I'll say,
I'm not saying that a bill could not be split along the way, but for me, initially, the man should pay for
the first date.
I never.
But hold on a second, Francine, then Denise. But my question is, where are you picking this out of the sky about who pays for what? But Francine, then Denise. Who should pay, Francine?
The man should pay for the dinner.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Because it's the first impression that is going to keep me going.
I want to be impressed by you too, Francine. I'd be impressed if you trust me. If you paid, I would be impressed.
I know, and then we go on the second and third date, and you be grooming me. So we not doing
it. You be working,
Denise, what are your thoughts about payment?
So I'm gonna say this. Whatever date I went on I never had to pay for the meal. Never.
You got it going on. You know what?
Never. I'm serious.
I'm getting ready to get you.
Even the husband I was with, he wanted to impress me so bad.
Dang.
He paid for everything. He didn't give a darn because he was trying, to groom me in, grooming me. So he didn't care what he had to pay.
He's grooming.
I never. Now, don't get me wrong. I can't even remember ever. I never went Dutchies with a man.
Well, let me.
I just never.
That begets my question. You guys have had this situation where you didn't pay for anything and it didn't really work out long term for you. So why don't we try something new with having to try to pay for stuff half and half, and let's try that for a couple of years and see what we get.
Okay, so this is what it says.
I will say I'll leave the tip. I have said that.
So here's the general rule. This is what it says. The rule when it comes to dates in general, and especially the first date, is the person who extends the invitation also pays and tips. So whoever asks the other person, let's go out, that's the person that should be paying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay.
So bill and tip go hand in hand.
Chris, someone wrote in the chat, when you said what you said, they wrote, "Bye, Chris." So I guess
you was doing good. All of these, every podcast you came on, you was the man. I even was marrying you about 2 weeks ago. We getting a divorce now, Chris. It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
You never know until you get to know somebody. You never know.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So, and have you done that before, Chris? And what was the reaction of the person you was with?
Well, I never done it before, but I'm looking at the grooming part is really important because when money is like this top tier thing. Like if you ain't got money or you ain't doing this or you ain't paying for this or you ain't this, that. I think we hold that stuff to a high standard versus getting to know somebody, and you got to come together. It's a together thing. It's not who's paying for this and who's paying for that. Over time, those things start to happen. Over time, hey, I got to build this one. I got this one. Because like she said, they were grooming her, paid all of, he groomed her, got what he wanted, then he bounced. Because money is just, it's not tangible. It's just something that just exists. Like money is not it. So we gotta trade, remove money, go with what's important, and that's getting to know that person. That's really getting to know that person, even if I have to pay my way, even if I have to pay my part. It's all about how we're connecting. It's not about the money.
Get Miss
Can I
Denise,
say something?
please.
I never had a man, all the men that paid, for the meal or the drink or whatever, when I said drink, they never left me. I left them. So I always had to get rid of them because down the line, like I say, they were unfaithful men. So that's what I was normally attracted.
Let me ask you this question, Denise, and we're gonna get ready to wrap up for tonight in a few minutes. But let me ask you this, Denise. Do you think if you would have taken time to look at their background and check out their DNA a little bit, that you could have found out what you found out later? Do you think it was there to be discovered or not?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say with the husband, I knew he had a drug history and he was locked up at one time. But I also know people can change.
Sure.
Right? But if I would have taken the time to get to know him, like I really believe that we need to interview people. You really need to get in their head and ask some questions, talk about money, everything. What do you think about money? Or, what do you think? What do you want to do in 2 years or whatever? Start asking questions to really to build up something to see like, okay, do I want to spend my time with this one or whatever? And well, what are you doing with your life? Ask questions. I know I was ignorant of that one, not really getting to know someone, asking questions, and really courting them, allowing them to court me. Because I know if me and the husband got married, oh my gosh, it was what, 3 months, whatever. We shouldn't have got married. I know that. But I was going through something up here because I just got out of a dumb relationship that I know I shouldn't have been in. So I was going through a whole lot of stuff. So I know I was in the wrong place when I married him. Because I had been in my right mind, that wouldn't have happened. I'd have been done with him early.
Wow. All right, Francine, Chris, as we get ready to wrap up, any thoughts you want to share, any takeaways you have from today? It's your last few minutes. We'll go with you, Francine, first.
I'm just gonna look at things a lot differently with the courting and the grooming part. And I'm still gonna stick to my grounds about my what I want out of, like I said, the first couple of dates from a man to show me that he's, the right one for me, and not settle for less than that. Because every time you settle, you kind of giving them an opportunity to groom you or let you down, or be in the back seat type relationship.
I agree with that.
Chris and then Denise.
Yeah.
So what my takeaway is, so courting. I just want to court a woman from the jump. It ain't about money. Money comes in over time as we sit down and we talk, but to get your attention, and I think wealth is internal. Once you start to focus on what's inside, all the things on the outside just, it's like icing on a cake. You got to bake the cake first. So,
but I want you to understand, Chris. I want you to look at the screen, and I want you to know, based on your terminology, none of these wonderful women who are available would be available to you because you do not want to pay for the first date. So I want you to realize, and I want you to see what you're missing right here on the screen.
That's because I don't. That's because I don't want to groom them. I'd rather court them.
You wouldn't be grooming me. I'm
you with my own money though.
Because I'm the one that buy the meal the next time. I would be the one that buy the meal the next time.
Right,
but I have no problem.
You need something on the beginning to show that, hey, they're willing to put a little work in.
Yeah, at least Chris, something you have on that. To do that.
Something. Yeah, because I don't have no problem in paying for it, but let me see
first date.
Not the first date. Not the first date, Dre.
So Denise, if you can close out our guest commentary, then Cheryl and Andrea will.
Okay. So this was really great, y'all. I appreciate being here.
Oh, thank you for being here.
I got a lot.
Thank you so much.
So I learned, that I, with the courting thing, and I don't know, I'm open to pay for the meal. All depends. I mean, if I like this guy and I'm like, he don't look like he's trying to use me and get over on me, then, I'll pay with no problem. So everything was great, man. I really enjoyed this. I'll be back.
Well, please do. Francine, Denise, and Chris, thank you so much for joining this evening. We are really appreciative.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Chris, we're breaking off our engagement.
Oh, boy. Chris,
Chris,
boy.
we're breaking off our engagement, Chris. I want you to know that.
We
Yeah,
tried,
we blew
Chris.
it.
We
We
tried.
blew
We tried. It's over.
Bye, Chris.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, Cheryl and Andrea, I'll put up our little, as you share your thoughts, I'll put up our little contact information.
Yeah.
But before we do that, Cheryl and Andrea, share any closing thoughts that you have that you wanna share with people.
Yeah, sure.
I thought it was a great show. I'm glad that was the subject, and you have an idea of how different people look at what we have went over and what we have discussed. And you made some good points, Dr. Williams. I appreciate it. And Chris needs to check himself because for real, he needs to check himself. And other than that, good show. Thank
Yeah.
everybody for coming
Oh,
to
yeah,
listen and to speak.
we had a full house. Madam
Yeah.
Andrea.
I think it went well. I definitely want to continue this conversation, hopefully next week, to really get down deep into some of the things we talked about. And what I'm going to walk away with is that it's not the potential of the person, it's my own potential that I'm looking at. And I've never really thought of it in that, manner, but it really is. It's basically what I'm looking at and saying, yes, you can be what you want because I'm going to help you get there.
So, Andrea, if you can do the screen overview.
Here we go. So if you guys like what you've seen tonight, hit us up and like us, put a comment, subscribe. You know where that is. We also have our email addresses here. We have a website. Also, we have our Cash App. If you want to see more of this content, drop us a couple of dollars in our Cash App so we can bring you more of Two Brothers and a Sister. And thank you.
Good
Andrea,
job, Bree.
I know you think you're a brother sometimes, but
Oh,
it's
two sisters and a brother.
Two sisters and a brother. She doesn't think
Bring you
she's a
more of
brother.
two sisters and a brother.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you both. This has really been enjoyable.
How about
Yeah.
you? Tell us what
Yeah.
you thought.
Afterthoughts.
I thought it was fantastic. I think we had a wonderful dialogue, and I think again, as we were saying, I think for the two guests to hear Chris and for Chris to hear them, just to understand. I think often these are dialogues we don't have. We don't get to hear those different perspectives. So I think it was really all good to just open up the dialogue, and we have different ages in the spectrum of where people are in their journey. So I think it was all good, and I pray that it's something that people will find useful to have that conversation and to be able to say, hey, I want to make sure we're courting each other rather than grooming each other. And I hope we're bringing those words to the to the dialogue and the lexicon. So I think it's really good. I'm excited. I think this is good.
Yes, me too.
All right, very
Good
good.
job. Good night,
Till next week.
everyone.
Take
Good
care.
night.
See you